Live? I think we're live. Hey, what's up, guys? How is it going? Today is December 10th, I believe, Tuesday. This is going to be our weekly live show. Today we're going to be going over our normal promotions, but we're also going to be trying to do something a little bit different. We want to try to bring back the engaging aspect of our live shows to you guys. I'm sure you guys already saw on the title of this live show, the question is, what is the best airsoft gun? So that's going to be the topic of the day. We're also going to be doing something a little different where the comments, there are a crazy amount of comments, and it's really hard for us to get to all of them. We're going to be having Josh, our Predator, filter through those comments, and they're going to relay those comments back to me and Bob here. Bob should be here in just a moment. And what we request from you guys is shoot your questions away, but please keep in mind that there is about a 2 to 3 minute delay between the comments there and the video feed. So do not spam your comments. Do not copy and paste them. It's really hard for us to get to it that way. Post a comment and wait about 2 to 3 minutes and see if we answer it then. If we still have, then maybe post it once or twice more, but please do not spam Josh, our Predator. He's going to be doing his best to filter a lot of those comments. So I'm going to start really quick. One that Josh sent over to me right now. AAW Airsofter, he's asking is, what is your favorite LMG? My favorite LMG has probably got to be the M249. It's just a really classic light machine gun. I feel like it's very iconic, especially in like the U.S. military, and will just, you know, tear things up. I know a lot of people are fans of the HK IR M27 stuff like that, but that's probably my favorite. I don't have any heavy machine guns or LMGs, but that'd be probably my favorite. Welcome to the show, Bob.
Thank you very much, Daniel.
We got our first question already. Our question is, what is your favorite LMG?
Man, that's a really good one. Did you already answer?
I answered mine. I was talking about the M249. I like the M249. I feel like it's very iconic in the U.S. military, so that would probably be my favorite.
Yeah, no, I have a really tough time with that one because when I first started out, I always wanted to get a saw. And then, you know, I kind of played with them a bit heavy. Yeah, a bit heavy, especially like the ones we have with the rail kits on the front. Man, that is a really, really good question. Touche, viewers. I feel like I want to marinate in that for a while, but I will say that it's probably going to be a really big toss-up between an M249 and a really custom kitted out M60. I've just always kind of had a place for M60s in my heart, just from all these different movies, from the history it's had with the United States military. So yeah, gosh, that is a tough one. I actually recently saw, I'm not a fan of Polar Stars, but I know we had some custom Blackheart guns come out, and they had a bunch of different camo schemes on them that were pretty awesome. So yeah, I would be tempted to get one of those in like a non-Polar Star configuration. So yeah, definitely a custom Spec Ops 249 would be a tough sell between that and an M60. Gosh, that's a good question.
Sure. Marinade, maybe we'll come back to that one in a little bit. But I did let the viewers know what we're doing with our topic for the day, and then that hopefully we can't spam Josh too much with the questions. We have the Skype set up, so he's going to be shooting a question. So we'll go into one more question really quick that Josh just sent us, and then we're going to go to the promotions. We got some really cool stuff going on for the holiday season. Bear Dog X question was Echo One Platinum M4, I'm guessing, or Full Metal KWA M4. Oh, that's a tough one. In my mind, those are both some of the highest end M4s out there. Gearboxes on both of them are extremely, extremely solid. Right now, I would actually probably go with the Echo One Platinum simply because I know internally it can accept a lot more parts. That's not saying KWAs are not upgradable internally. I know there's this like stigma that people think that they're not as upgradable. That's not true because I have a KWA SR7 that I turned, KWA SR5 that I turned into a DMR sniper rifle that's shooting 550 out of the box. But in terms of the parts that are available, the VFC that's in the Echo One is a little bit more upgradable. So if I had a choice between those two, I'd probably go with the Echo One. But those are both amazing guns. If I were to take either one, I'd be so happy. Like, you're win-win. Honestly, that's a win-win. What do you think between the two guns?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree that it is definitely a win-win. Let me scoot over a little. Yeah, definitely a win-win. Look at that cable right there. I would go with the Echo One Platinum just for the fact that I haven't had a lot of experience using it, but I've airsofted with Tim Sargent for so long, and he had one for years, and he put so many different things on it, and he didn't change much internally. He just put accessories on it and still just functioned and rocked and rolled, and so just from my experience of like being able to, I don't know, I just feel like I have. I don't know. I guess like I just don't have an experience with the full metal KWA. Most KWA guns I have are gas blowbacks, but just because of my experience, Echo and Platinums are great. But yeah, you're really not going to go wrong with either of those guns.
Yeah.
So.
And I did have the SR12 for a little while, which I loved. I ended up selling because it was too long. It didn't fit my personal play style. And then, which was funny because I had the SR5 and then I needed to do more. I had like I had 4 CQB guns at one point because that's when I did a lot of TAC Stadium. I was like, I have too many CQB guns. Let's turn around and do a DMR. I've been doing this for way too long, so my guns get cycled and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
No, I think it's really interesting how your play style is right now because it's very, we talked before, it's very different than mine. Like your gun seems to, or the guns that you like to run seem to be very lightweight, high speed, low drag, and they're very functional. Yeah. Whereas I put everything in the kitchen sink on mine.
Yeah, there's a kitchen sink on one.
Yeah, that's right. That is right.
Okay, before we go into more questions, let's go into some of the promotions really quick. Let me grab, what was this one here? So first of all, I want to say happy holidays. Thanksgiving passed a few weeks ago. We have Christmas coming up, and I want to let everybody know Airsoft GI and all the employees here are working so hard right now to make sure that everything goes good for your guys' Christmas. We have our guaranteed shipping dates if you guys want to make sure you guys get your stuff by Christmas. But a lot of the company here is working overtime. A special shout out to our CS department and our shipping department. They're working some of them are working 7 days a week just to make sure you guys get your stuff. So that's kind of stuff that you never see, but I think they deserve the props because they work so hard.
I'm really happy you mentioned that because those are the two departments I wanted to single out as well as doing exceptional jobs because this is the hardest time. A lot of you don't know this is the hardest time of the year for our shipping department and our customer service department. I believe the last Monday. I mean, can I mention how many calls we fielded? Or
yeah,
okay. Last Monday we fielded about 500 calls in a single day, so it was quite a bit, and we're trying to help people out as the best we can, and our coworkers are amazing at their job, so we're really proud of them.
Oh yeah,
love them to death, and just say thanks if you see them. I guess I don't know. You probably
that's 500 calls for the staff of what, 5, 6?
Yeah,
right?
About that.
So that's like 100 calls per day. That's pretty crazy. And if you guys didn't know, the guys that you call in, you guys can ask questions about your orders or Airsoft questions. Those guys are players. They play on the weekends. They're not just customer service reps that that don't know what Airsoft is. They actually play. So when they give you answers to your questions, you can talk to Bob on Mondays and Fridays and stuff like that.
That's the funny thing is I get a lot of people like, oh man, wait, is this Bob the Axeman? I'm like, yeah, how's it going? They're like, oh my god, oh my god. But the crazy thing also is that not only are they players, but we have referees, Airsoft referees. So you're getting just the least biased viewpoint, I guess, as you can from our customer service because there's so much experience to speak off of, so much knowledge that it's just a really great department. So.
Yeah. So really, really cool. So okay, those guaranteed shipping dates. If you want to make sure your package gets here by Christmas, make sure you guys order by these dates. So December 13th is the cutoff day for UPS Ground. December 19th is the last day for 3-day select. The 20th is the last day for 2-day select, and the next day air is going to be the 23rd. If you guys know what you're looking for, I'd say the sooner the better, just to make sure everything goes smoothly. But those are the guaranteed shipping dates to make sure everything gets there by Christmas. At the same time, besides shipping everything out so quickly, we're still shipping everything out at our normal 99% accuracy rate. So that means you're going to get your stuff out quickly and accurately. So you don't have to worry about getting some random stuff because actually a lot of the shipping guys actually play Airsoft as well. Like Brian, you guys have probably seen him in videos. He works back there and he works his butt off. And he was telling me, he's like, oh yeah, I packed this order and this was this part. And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. So he knows what he's doing there.
In case you're curious who Brian is, if you actually check out our Hunger Games video, he's the gentleman with the two-tone Chris's. It's a pretty great video if you can check that out. Hunger Games 2013. Now, an interesting thing a lot of people don't know about Airsoft GI is that we actually test all of the Airsoft guns that we sell from our facility. We test them for quality control and functionality so that when it gets there, it should be in the best possible condition. Now, obviously, we can't take responsibility for UPS and all that, but we do the best we can to make sure you get the best possible product on time and making sure it's what you want.
Definitely. And that's not even for the holiday season. We do that on a normal basis. So if you guys didn't know that, that's cool. On top of the testing of all the guns, we have our extended holiday warranty. We understand you may be getting gifts now, but nobody's going to open them until Christmas. So our standard 45-day warranty does not begin until Christmas Day. So in that really rare chance something doesn't work out, we have a return policy and all that. Our extended warranty, we understand you're getting your stuff for Christmas for the people you love about and the people that you care, the husband, the wives, the kids, and all that other stuff. So that way you have that peace of mind. So don't worry. Open all your stuff at Christmas. The off chance something goes wrong, we'll take care of you. Speaking of gifts, we do have gift certificates that are currently online and digital only, but we are working on physical gift cards that you can either send out and for our walk-in store locations. All that's on our website, so check that out as well.
Actually, I want to mention something about the gift cards because I've been talking to people on the customer service line about that. What's really cool about those is that you can actually, a lot of people, or at least one gentleman in particular, we're getting a little confused about them, and you can actually email the gift card to the person you want to give it to. You essentially get it, and then you go to our website, it says send gift card, you type in the person's name, type in the person's email, send it, they now have that money. So it's really easy, very mostly hassle-free, and hopefully the physical gift cards will be coming out sometime soon.
Yeah, and the idea behind that too was because we're an online retailer, we understand that most of our customers are on the computer. So we were trying to make it digital based. So if you're a mom and you want to, email, your son or something like that, or somebody else, or a grandparent, and you want to email it digitally, you can do that. But we're going to hopefully have the physical gift cards up soon too. So if you want to order that and give it, you can do that as well. On top of that, we also have our standard Holiday 20 coupon code going on. You can save 20% off most of our inventory with the exception of some map items as well. And what was the other thing I wanted to mention? The store sales.
We don't have to mention those, Dave.
But I like the store sales. I worked there for 2.5 years.
We're on key for a little bit. Yeah, go for it. December 21st. Bring it.
December 21st at both of our store locations on the West Coast and the East Coast at GI Tactical. It's going to be December 21st. It is our Christmas sale. Those stores only will be 20.5% off. And then there will be select manufacturers that will be dropping MAP pricing for that day. I'm not allowed to release which ones. That's against the MAP policy and agreement that we have, but that is going to happen. Also, the first 50 customers that spend $150 at those sales will receive a free goodie bag. That goodie bag will have a free t-shirt, a free hat, patch, GI bucks, a couple other things, and one of them will have a redemption for a free G4. So this is our Christmas sale that's happening at both of our store locations. They're opening at normal hours at 11 a.m. at their respective time zones, but that's pretty cool. I think I might be at the California store one that day just to help out, but I'm pretty stoked about that. So let's go into maybe some of the new products and we can answer some more questions, and then we're going to go into the topic of the day in just a minute of what is the best airsoft gun. So what's the first gun that we're going to talk about today that we have? We want to go with the P90 or the 1911?
I guess we could. Let's go with the P90. All right. Why don't you start out with this one? Obviously, it has trademarks on it, but...
All right, so this is the Asia Electric P90 that is fully licensed by FN.
Now, it's Asia Electric Guns P90, so it's an AEG.
Yes. Thank you for that as well. When I was, we just got these in a little while ago, along with some of the King Arms ones. This kind of, after playing with them, because I haven't held a P90 in a little while, it kind of rejuvenated my love for a P90. A little bit about my airsoft history. My first AEG ever was a TM P90 that I still have, and I'm thinking about bringing back because the P90 is so compact and lightweight. And when I decided to get that gun as my first gun, I did a lot of research of I'm doing CQB, but I wanted something for outdoor as well. What is compact, small, lightweight, but I can take indoors and outdoor. Naturally, this is probably one of the best CQB guns because it's so small, pull-up style design. But what I did was, because the hop-up is so easy to access, I would change out the inner barrels and go play at outdoor games, and change that out to right? Yeah. And like an M4 length barrel in just a minute, which was really cool. So this is, it usually goes for $215, but we have a bundle holiday package where you get this and a mock suppressor with it for, I think, barrel extension. I'm sorry. For $190. So, Bob, what are your thoughts on the P90?
You know, I'm actually going to kind of agree with you on the fact that it's great for CQB. I haven't had a whole lot of experience playing with this in Airsoft, but I do have a bunch of buddies that use this for Airsoft, and I do not doubt the effectiveness. I'm really excited because I want to take one of these out. I've never really been able to rock and roll the P90 because I didn't own one, and my friends who had them wouldn't lend them to me. But this is probably one of the best guns I can think of off the top of my head for going around a corner. I mean, it's so lightweight, and it's also, most of the weight is right here just behind my firing wrist. So that's great as far as balance. It's also so short. I mean, where I first started playing in SoCal, which is now Tax City, this would have been perfect for it. I mean, my shotgun is so much longer than this, and probably my two favorite things about this are the fact that I can actually rock this with my axe. I can, one-hand it with the axe over here, and I also want to try and do, a GoldenEye, double P90 thing.
Yeah,
so
that RC90, we've been talking about that a lot.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So
we've been actually post, and Josh can maybe take a quick tally and see, but we've been thinking about doing like a GoldenEye video. That'd be kind of funny where like you can't like aim, because like in the GoldenEye videos it looks like you're just kind of walking around with a gun, like this, and it's just, yeah. So we were thinking about doing some kind of funny video like that where we're running around shooting each other. Let us know if you guys think that would be kind of cool. But just going back on the compact size, one of the major reasons why I ended up going with the P90 was I was thinking about how compact the size could be, and so I started thinking of the smallest gun possible, and the first thing that came to mind was any pistol. When I use a pistol, I'm out like this. At most, if I'm going to be compact, I'm going to be like this. Now, I was judging that distance, that distance from where I'm going to be having my gun out compared to where I have the P90. So if I can borrow that for a second, I'm not even going to move here. This distance is maybe just, a couple inches longer than the pistol itself, and that's why I chose the P90 to begin with, because physically I'm not sticking out much further than the pistol, but I have this P90 has a 250 millimeter inner barrel, so you have a very compact sized gun with a lot more range and accuracy and firepower naturally.
The batteries come out of this thing?
That's really finicky, so
for
shame. Dead on that. I'm going to answer a question. I'm going to do a question from Ben Heeb. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but he's asking is, how do you feel about teching a gun versus buying a fully upgraded custom gun, I'm assuming? That's actually a really good question. I would say if you have the time and the ability, definitely learn how to tech. It's very challenging, but it's extremely rewarding. This hobby is so much fun and very addicting that if you can learn how to tech and you can, make anything you want, that's an amazing skill to have. But be careful, because all your friends are going to be like, work on my gun, work on my gun, work on my gun. Most of us don't always have the time and the effort, and for like me, I would trial and error boneyard guns, and like I would just, break parts and break guns to try to learn, but it was worth it in the end. You don't have that time. It's nice that you can just buy a custom gun that's already decked out. My first pick would be learn how to tech if you can, but if you can't, go with a custom gun. What do you think, Bob?
This is actually a very good question by, I believe, Ben Heeb. Now, I don't have a lot of experience teching a lot of different guns, but when I got at Airsoft, I actually did tech on my gas sniper rifles. And when I say tech, I mean, really I was replacing the barrel with a Type Warner barrel and a hop-up. I didn't do as much for my AEGs because at the time, at least the Classic Army MP5, you couldn't really open it. Or at least without, well, it doesn't matter, but it's very difficult to open to keep it short. So I had some issues like getting started teching because I had no one in Bakersfield that had any experience with airsoft guns. So even if I wanted to, there was no one I could go to. So I essentially kind of got from that, I would rather buy a gun out of the box that I can go out and play with. I don't want to have the hassle with that, and that's why, like you see me now, like I like K-weight gas guns, and that's mainly because right out of the box you can go out and play with them at the field. You're not gonna have any issues. They're gonna outperform, and they're awesome. Like my LM4, I've only had one issue with that ever, and that was mostly because I decided to use crappy BBs. So I mean, as far as an airsofter as I am now, I mainly like to buy guns that are great out of the box because, one, I don't like the hassle of having to do a lot of tech work, although it is very rewarding. I only tech on very specific things, like the Miracle Barrel. That is really important for me. It's not a really easy, or it's not a really difficult change, but it changes your game so much. Yeah. The left-to-right deviation is so amazing that it's not really even there. But yeah, I guess I'm more of a hassle-free airsoft, where I just like to, be able to buy it, take it out to the field, and rock and roll with it. So I make kind of minimal changes on my airsoft guns, mostly cosmetic.
Nice. Yeah, very nice. All right, we'll move on to the next gun that we have. The next one that we have, this actually just went up on our website, I think today or yesterday. This is the brand new Blackwater 1911. This is a really cool gun that I like because I'm a huge 1911 nut. If you guys are not aware, this does utilize the same magazines and will provide the same performance as the Elite Force 1911s. What I like about this is you have the Blackwater trademarks, or kind of like the paw on the side. This is my M3 replica flashlight that I just threw on because I had it at the side, and it really completed the look. But I like it because it is CO2 powered, so that is different than all the green gas. Like I have a KWA Mark II, but I'm going to take this out to the field on Sunday with probably my P90 and try to get some footage and see how this goes out. But 1911s are nice. That the Elite Force series has the classic World War II 1911 and then the black tan two-tone with a rail, but unfortunately they don't have like an all-black modern one with triple dot sights and a rail. So this Blackwater one's kind of cool, and it goes for like 110. So Bob, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm a really big fan of CO2 pistols. I hadn't used a lot until about a year and a half ago. Like I started using the Elite Force 1911, and these guns are incredibly similar, and the great part about these is that they kick like a mule. These guns are generally, you want to make sure you use these at non-CQB fields, well, essentially fields with an FPS limit of 400 feet per second or less, and that's mainly because these guns generally fire, I believe, 370 and 380. Mm-hmm. But they're great because they work in colder climates than green gas does, because it's CO2. Also, for the fact that these are different than the Elite Force 1911s in that their barrel is coated with, I don't know exactly what kind of paint it is, but it looks silver or nickel or whatnot. They also have a different colored trigger. I think that gives it a more, I guess, just a better look for movies, if not coolness factor. The two-tone Elite Force 1911 is great. I love that thing, but for a modern black one, this is pretty darn cool. Like Daniel said, with the black, I almost said Blackhawk, but the Blackwater logo.
God. I do want to say that with my experience with the KWA Mark II, which is definitely one of the top-notch 1911s in the airsoft industry, this gun does kick harder. And yes. I was impressed when I fired it. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, it kind of like, give me a second take there.
Yeah, right out of the box, this thing is pretty accurate. Just like the Elite Force 1911 CO2 pistols, very similar to those. These guns are very accurate right out of the box, and that's another reason why I like them. Mm-hmm. They're, it's, I guess, similar to KWA in that right out of the box, great gun. So yeah, I couldn't recommend this even any more than I could, except the fact that it's not CQB legal. So
gotcha. Yeah. So Josh is shooting us a few more questions. We're going to answer those really quick. Go into an event that we have coming up that I'm excited about and Bob's excited about, and then we'll go into our main topic. First one is from Black Tip Recon. What is the best platform for building an M4 SPR DRM from VFC, KWA, or any other high end? Black Tip Recon, my first recommendation would be go with the Echo One Platinum Edition M4. Yeah, I was going to take it. We talked about that a little bit earlier, and I know our techs personally pick that gun individually because it's so great to work on. It works with so many different aftermarket parts, and it's not too expensive for a high-end gun. Like I know just the Elite Force, I think it's like 300 or so, but for what you get, the VFC internals, all metal body that's really lightweight, functioning bolt catch. But besides that, if you're going to work on tuck on a gun, you're naturally going to drop more money on the parts of what you want to build. That gun is amazing to go off of. So that would be my first recommendation. The only thing that I don't know what you have in mind is what trademarks you want on your M4. If you want a specific trademark, like I want to know Noveski trade on mine, so I had to get an aftermarket body for that matter. They may or may not offer something. Like they have a lot of Daniel Defense and other licensing stuff, but I don't know if there's something else. Bob, what do you think?
Really quick, can you be a lamb and do me a flavor? Can you refresh on that page?
Yes.
Highly acceptable. Okay, so for me, it's kind of funny. I would actually go with the Echo One Platinum M4 as well. It's really ironic we're agreeing so much. Now, I would do that for my previously stated reasons that I really like guns, especially AEGs, that are really great out of the box. You're not going to be having a lot of hassles with. So the Echo One Platinum M4 would be my choice as well. And, it's our tech's choices for the reasons Daniel stated. They work with so many different parts and accessories. So, those are great guns. Echo One Platinum M4s are awesome. They come in a variety of different, I guess, styles. Like you have, the M4 with the handguard. You also have, I believe, we have some customs with the rail kit. You also have the M16. You have the M16 Platinum. So that's pretty good.
Actually, that's a better answer. If you're building a DMR, I think
you probably want.
You taught me for that for sure. Get the Echo One M16 edition. It's essentially the same
Platinum
gun.
edition, yeah.
Yeah, but with the full 18-inch barrel, the full stock. That's probably much closer to your DMR build. Good call for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you want to answer that next question.
I do. All right, this question comes out to us from Josh Erickson. Sounds familiar.
Yeah. That's,
yeah, I don't. Huh. Well, anyway, moving on. His question is, Bob, why do you hate Polar Stars so much? And I don't hate Polar Stars. I just recognize that they don't agree with my playstyle. Now, the thing is, I am very upfront in the fact that I recognize that they are the most consistent, most reliable, and possibly most accurate option, especially for DMR platforms. We got the chance to see this at Operation Irene when Josh had a Polar Star sniper platform that had an Orga barrel, a wide bore barrel, which is very interesting. I learned a lot about some of the teching by just him talking about the gun. The fact that it has just, what's that called, a cushion of air around it to push the BB out. That's really interesting that it makes it that more accurate by doing that. So I guess to get to the nuts and bolts of it is that I like to feel like I'm shooting an airsoft gun, or like a real gun. Like I want the feedback of my airsoft gun. This AEG has it. You're going to feel the motor turning. This CO2 1911 certainly has it because you're going to feel it when it fires. But the Polar Stars, basically, it just turns a little solenoid that opens up just a valve, or I guess it just turns a solenoid, releases the high-pressured air. So there's really nothing there. It feels like you're holding a hose. But if you want to be effective, if you want to be, a squad automatic weapon that just rickrolls the enemy team, you are going to want to get a Polar Star. So, it's for the good and the bad. Josh likes them because they're incredibly effective, and it doesn't matter to him as much about feedback as it does to me. So that's really the answer there. I don't hate them. I just prefer other things.
Makes sense. Why don't we talk about the event, and then we'll go into some more questions, and then we'll talk about our topic. So, if you guys are not aware, we have the next Bob Rebel Training Camp event coming up.
Wait, I got an idea.
Ooh, I like that better.
Okay, that's all I got.
Bob, why don't you explain the event?
All right, so this is Bob the Axeman's Rebel Training Camp Northern Resistance. We are continuing the fight for freedom against the Timfire, who until recently was leaderless. Now, they have pulled back into the surrounding cities and have left open their recently seized territory in Northern California, Antioch to be specific. So I'm going to be flooding that area with my rebel forces in an attempt to train up for the coming battles. Now, we are actually going to have two U.S. military trainers there, one who is, I believe, a former drill drill sergeant, because he's in the Army, and he is a current law enforcement officer. The other fellow, Staff Sergeant Eric, is actually, I believe he has worked with Marine Special Ops, Naval Special Warfare. He actually was a founder of a Coast Guard unit that I believe did boarding operations, and is currently on assignment with, I believe, Army Special Forces. Anyway, you can look it up on the actual event for this thing on our website and the tickets. There's going to be a lot of great people there. Lunch will be included, and the folks who do the lunch, I got to harp on this because it is the finest lunch I've ever had at an airsoft event, because not only there's so many options, but they're really good options. I think last time was baby back ribs, teriyaki chicken, salmon. There's a vegetarian dish, and there's one other thing I'm missing, like I think a brisket or something. But anyway, a lot of great options. It's delicious, and I can't wait to go back. The price for the event is going to be $50. That's going to cover a lot of different things, and we should be having a lot of raffle prizes. At the last Rebel Training Camp, we were inundated with great folks that came out to play, and a lot of the folks came home with something that was from our event. So that was really great, and it should be a really good all day fun amount of gameplay, and I can't wait to see you all there.
And we can't go into detail much about the raffle prizes and the swag, but Lancer Tactical, they are being super gracious. They are going to be the sole sponsors of this event. I believe they're actually going to join us up there, and so they're going to be providing a lot of cool stuff for you guys. So keep that in mind if you guys want to get your ticket. I would say, I know the event's not for a little while, but get it sooner than later. It's going to be a lot of fun, and this is the stuff that I am really excited about now that I get to work more closely with the marketing department, that I get to go to this event, and I get to go play and eat all the food and hang out with Lantern Tactical. And we haven't worked out all the training in detail yet. We're going to have the training from the members that Bob already mentioned, but I might be able to help you guys in terms of the newer players on like basic Airsoft tips and advice and stuff like that too. So I'm super stoked for this because I get to go up to Northern California.
Yeah, I feel better. I actually completely forgot to mention the literal location of it. It's in Antioch, California. It's going to be at Game Pod Combat Zone. It's going to be where we had Tim vs. Bob 5. I believe one of, if not the largest indoor training facility in Northern California. And I've also been informed not only do they have one buggy, but now they have two.
Can I drive one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you can drive it. They offered to let us do the gunning on the minigun.
I've never fired a minigun. Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Yeah, switch it over into thermal and just shoot the heat signatures.
This is the best job ever. This is amazing. I'm so happy right now. Okay, before we go on, I think we have another question from Josh, and then we're going to go into our topic. It's from Bob Axman. I don't think that's
there is actually a Bob Axman.
Oh, okay. This was like a good question. The question is, good Christmas airsoft gun. Oh, good Christmas airsoft gun for my son. The budget is $400, and he's been playing it in mini fields for about a year. So what would be a good Christmas present for $400? We've been talking about it a lot, but I would say like any KWA. I know we have, I think like the SR7s and the SR10s in. Those are really solid field guns, or the Echo 1 Platinum. But that's kind of difficult to say because when it comes to Christmas presents, everybody has a different play style. So those are solid competitive guns that are going to rock really good on the field. But the $400 budget, you can totally get like a KWA LM4 and add some extra mags and rock out with that too. So I would say a KWA SR10 if you're like at a field, like an outdoor field, that'd probably be my first pick because you still have enough spending room to get like extra mags, LiPo battery, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You need to factor in, your budget with the extra things you're going to need to get to make that gun functional. So, if you already have a lot of M4 mags, they're going to work with other guns. If you get another AG, that's great. You can spend more money on that specific gun. If you were playing CQB and you had a $400 budget, I would honestly suggest, this may sound a little weird, but a custom CQR. The CQRs are designed for CQB, and they also... The custom ones actually are put together by our tech department, and you save a lot of money just by having them put the work on there. So, which means you're going to be able to pick the more expensive ones, the cooler looking ones with that budget you have. If you were going for a field game, I wish I could buy a lot of our custom guns, but one, I'm not allowed to, and two, I often can't afford it. So I would highly suggest our custom guns for that $400 price range. Those are really great. If not that, there's definitely a lot of other ones that are really new and cool, like the KWA ERG. That is a really fun gun. It can use a wide variety of magazines, and you're going to get a lot of recoil you wouldn't normally have with a regular AEG. So that said, a lot of it comes down to preference for what your son likes to play with, whether it be gas guns, if he likes to play CQB, or if he likes to play outdoor field play. So those are important questions to ask first.
Very cool. Okay, so we got one more question. And then we're going to go into the topic. This is from Christopher Chandler. Is buying gear like vests worth it if you only play every once in a while? Should I focus my guns on my guns and ammo? I would agree with you. If you only play once in a while, I would rather have a good decked out gun with like few cool accessories and a few extra magazines than go with a tactical vest. My only, I would say, debate against that is some of the tactical gear is extremely affordable, like the Griffin tactical gear. You get a chest rig for $15. $15 chest rig. So if you play once in a while, pick up that basic chest rig. Holds 3 M4 pouches. You have some Molly equipment on the side, but then otherwise, yes, definitely focus on your gun. Get the extra mags and the accessories. And if anything, I'd probably even focus on like maybe even eventually a Type 4 barrel before getting all decked out. So that would be my thought. What do you think?
I gotta say, I like that you're reiterating what I'm gonna say too. If you only play, every now and again, I definitely think, focusing on a very affordable set of like a vest or a set of gear will be in your best interest. Mm-hmm. I mean, for me personally, I would feel like I'm missing half of the experience by just like putting all the money into the gun. I would at least want to get something affordable that I can use, and that's actually how I got it. I got a cross-draw vest, which is what a lot of people who are getting Airsoft do, and it worked really well for me. I loved it. Yep. And then as I got into Airsoft more and more, my kit changed, and I just kept. It's like I don't know what a Rector said. It was just building and building and building and building. So, yeah, I would say start out small if you know what you're going to use more. Go with a gun, focus on that, but get something that'll at least keep you playable, like a Griffin Golden chest rig. Those things, oh man, those are probably the best deal that we've had since I worked here. $15 for a Griffin chest rig, and they're $15, but they work. Like, we took them to Irene, like the craziest event of the year for Airsoft.
Super Bowl of Airsoft,
and they work really well. Yeah. So yeah, I would heartily suggest either getting the Griffin Dragon Spine belt system or the Griffin chest rig. Either one's good, or both would be really great. So,
and I think that brings up another good point too that you kind of touch base on is like I think people find different enjoyment in Airsoft where, if you're playing just every once in a while, you may be going just to go out there and have a good time and just, go run around and shoot people. But other people really enjoy the, I guess the milsim aspect, for lack of better words, of gearing up and helmet and all the BDUs and stuff like that too, which is a great part of the game that I do love. But there's times like one of my BDU pants tore recently, so like I've been going out in like a combat shirt and just jeans. Doesn't match, but I'm out there playing. I'm having a blast, and I don't look as cool as let's say Brian, who is a Marine in the shipping department, and that he gets all decked out, But like I still have a lot of fun. So I think that's just where the personal opinions and what you're going to play for is a little bit different, but it's all part of Airsoft.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, a lot of the enjoyment should come out of, are you happy with your setup? I mean, you really shouldn't have to worry about, like, oh, man, other people don't like what I look like. You really just got to go out there for yourself and have a great time. So to be honest, like, it's a lot about, at least when you get into Airsoft, learning what works best for you and just building off that experience. So I know I can see in the comments a lot of people are making fun of cross draws. It's understandable, but you guys got to understand that, we got to grow the sport. We can't all just, be, I guess, milsim or whatnot, and then just stop there. We have to bring new blood into this community. Otherwise, we're just going to wither away and just disappear. So while cross draws can look a bit janky, they work, they're functional, they are affordable, and they're a great way to get people equipped that are getting into the sport. So
yeah, the people that have been playing for a while, you have to understand that like 25% of the people out there that are playing Airsoft are new. Like when I went to HSP this Saturday, right?
Hollywood Sports Park.
Yeah, Hollywood Sports Park, and it was raining, and so there wasn't a lot of people that were there. I think it was like 5-on-5, 6-on-6, but there was this group of, it was a dad and probably about like 6 kids. It was like his son and a couple of friends, brand new rental gear and everything, and they were just like jeans, and it was like a sweatshirt, and they were on my team, and then me and Brian, a couple of the guys, were like, hey, this is what your hop-up does, try folding your stock this way. It was a great time. It was so much fun. So, when you see those newer players out there with the cross-draw vest, help them out. It may not be a Banshee, but, I mean, hey, they can shoot you back, too. And after a few, like, tips, dude, we were rolling. It was good. It was a really, really good time.
I want to mention two things. First of all, thank you for all the love I'm getting for this Medal of Honor Warfighter patch. This is actually given me by the lovely gentleman Gregory Wong of Spartan 1117 GW. Also like to answer a question, or actually a statement. Impressive Fire Airsoft mentioned the MPS is a very good starter vest. You are absolutely correct, and in fact, a really good way to look at gear when you're starting off for Airsoft is to look at the gear that has the magazine pouches that are integrally sewn into it, like the MPS chest rig. You're going to be able to buy that chest rig, and you're going to have like 4 to 6 mag pouches. So, as far as like affordability, those are great options for starting. So, just want to make a note of that.
All right, so before we take any more questions, and we will take more questions, we're going to go into the topic, and the question is, what is the best Airsoft gun? Now, it's a very difficult question to try to answer, but we're going to do our best. Bob, do you want to go first, or should I?
Well, I mean, I guess it's a little bit disingenuous to start that now, just because we've been kind of talking about what is the best between two things for a while. I mean, I guess really what I'm sure the point is we're going to get to is the fact that there is really no best airsoft gun. I mean, there are really great airsoft guns that people have manufactured for certain things, but a lot of airsoft guns are 400 feet per second. Can't take those to CQB facilities. Yeah. So the best gun at a field facility is not going to be the best gun at a CQB facility. But there are things that are the fine line, like those, let's see, I believe it's ICS, among other companies, that has the quick change spring system. So you can have a field gun that has a great spring. It's perfect for field play. Got another field, change spring out. Now you've got a great CQB gun. So I guess really we can only, as far as I feel, I think we can only say what is our personal opinion on the best airsoft gun in a specific circumstance at a specific location.
I would definitely agree to that. But that's It's really hard because there's so many different scenarios and styles of plays of what you want to get into.
Why don't we just pick a scenario in a situation and go from there?
Outdoor gun.
Outdoor gun!
400 FPS.
400 FPS. You go first.
I would go with the one that I had, the KWA SR12. By far one of the farthest shooting guns I've ever had. I told it, like I said, because it was too long. It didn't fit my playstyle. But in terms of straight performance, I would reach out and hit people from so far away. Your pick.
Now, this is basically going to go to my preferred playing style, and that's why this is a really tough question. I would choose my LM4 PTS. Now, I like that because, one, right out of the box, you're getting a great gun from KWA. Two, you got a lot of recoil. Three, it's pretty darn accurate. And four, those magazines are designed to operate in colder climates you normally would. Now, if we were playing outdoor field play in a much colder area, like almost freezing, I'd probably choose an AEG. But yeah, if I was going to a regular outdoor field, I love the range that has. Actually, I totally forgot. There's a video, I believe on GITV Uncut, where I first got to take out an LM4, and I remember shooting some people. I was like, I probably won't hit that guy. And the guy was like, ah! I was like, oh my god! So I've gotten some ridiculously long-range kills. It is so much fun to play with that thing. Obviously, you're probably not going to rock full auto on that, but that's my preference. So,
all right, best CQB gun.
Oh, wow. Am I going first?
Oh, I can go first.
Yeah.
I think in my mind, in theory, the best CQB gun for me would be either the P90 here, or the PDR, simply because of the compact size and what I was talking about before, like the pistol and stuff like that. You have the compact size, but you still have the firepower and the maneuverability, the firepower and the range of a longer gun. That is a huge advantage. And I remember when I had my P90 at Airsoft Playground, which is now Tac City North, that thing was great. That I felt like I didn't have to maneuver my gun. Like when I use an M4, I'm constantly going up, down when I'm in a CQB environment, because I have to make sure my barrel doesn't bump into the walls. With this, I was just like walking around. I felt like I was just walking like normal. My gun was always up. And that split-second difference was extremely helpful in those CQB environments, because I'm just walking around like this and I'm ducking and I'm turning, but I can shoot at an instant because I don't have to worry about getting my gun up because I'm bumping into the wall. And some of those fields are super, super compact, so that was an advantage in my mind.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a tough call for me because, there's like, I guess, do you want to, win the Airsoft game? Like, do you want to put down enough firepower to keep down the enemies, to keep down the heads of the enemy team? If I was going to do that, I would probably take the P90. I've seen, obviously I haven't had a whole lot of experience of it, but I have seen a lot of my friends, including some folks in Atlanta, Georgia, this one girl, P90 girl, who I've mentioned to you, Leo Marcello, rocks this gun and rocks it really well. And the fact you can turn quarters, and one of the guns she had has a really, really high rate of fire. So if I wanted to, I guess, just be the most combat effective CQB person I could, I'll probably get a P90. But as far as personal preference, what I would think the best airsoft gun for me in CQB, it would probably be my KWA KMP9, because it's got a really high rate of fire. When you pull the trigger, it's going to fire right when you pull the trigger. It's not going to take the motor, a quarter of a second or less to wind up. If you go barrel to barrel with someone and you pull the trigger more or less at the same time, you're going to hit them first. So I like that. Also, my bread and butter is shotguns. I love shotguns, so it'd really be a toss-up for me between my gas submachine gun and my spring, or now my gas shotgun with my Tokyo Marui 870. So I guess, I don't know, long story short, best combat effectiveness, P90 with some custom internal work, most fun, best time, KMP9 from KWA, or gas Tokyo Marui shotgun or spring shotgun.
Very cool.
That's a long answer.
Now I want to jump into two different categories that, once again, I mean, it is hard to say which airsoft gun's the best, but I think there's best for different scenarios. The two that I want to go into now is what is the best performing airsoft gun, and then what is the most realistic, because I feel that those are kind of different categories. And what I mean by performance is, for the sake of the game, to win, you just have to get the other person to hit them with the BB. How that happens, that's going to be based on the gun that you're using. I definitely have to give a shout out to Polar Star. I know Bob isn't a fan of that, and we just went over that, but in terms of strictly performance, that gun can do anything and everything for the most part. It can be your DMR, it can be your outdoor gun, it can be your CQB gun, and it's extremely reliable. With that being said, I understand Polar Star is extremely effective, so some of my favorite brands would definitely be KWA, VFC, and then TM, Tokyo Marui. Those guns out of the box, just stock, are so good and so accurate that they're amazing. Performing guns, what would you think?
Sorry, can you restate the whole question? Because I feel like there are two parts to that.
What's the most realistic? That's the second part I'm about to bring up. And then what is the best performing just for the sake of the competition of the game?
All right. I'm going to have to, eat humble pie here. I would say, after being to Irene and witnessing the sheer effectiveness of Josh's Polar Star, and not only that, going back a little further, being at Tim vs. Bob 4.5 and 4, I sent 60 rebels at one bunker, and both those guys had 240 Bravo Polar Star light machine gun, or I guess they're medium machine guns, and they killed all of them.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't even take a long time.
Yeah.
They got them all. So, and the cool thing is they had a crossfire going, and one guy had a funnel on his magazine. He's just pouring BBs in as he's shooting. So, you want to talk about effectiveness? I have to be honest. It's effective.
I kind of did that on purpose, so I kind of tracked you.
Yeah, I can tell.
But the point
Daniel.
I wanted to make a point that I wanted to get across here is that you may be reading what is the best airsoft gun. We're not going to give you the answer because everybody's different. That Bob, understands that Polar Stars are the best, but I don't think you're ever going to use one because this doesn't fit his play style.
So it's not the best for me.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that I really wanted to get across in this live show. That there are guns that perform well, and even like Lancer Tactical, for example. They're $100. That is the best gun you can get for $100 or less. Period. Done. And so it's for that scenario, if that's what you have, that's the best for you. So that does work in that scenario too. Realism. What do you think is the most realistic gun?
Funny, J.E. the Airsofter. I see you. Now, I'm actually going to mention something that hopefully I'm actually going to get there before you do. When Brian started working this company, this fellow we mentioned before, Two-Tone Chris is from Hunger Games, Marine. When he got here, I believe you actually had him look at the KWA LM4. Cracked it open. He was like, whoa, this looks just like my M4 from the Marine Corps. And that leads to my answer. I think the KWA LM4 is the most realistic airsoft gun on the market. The recoil is right on par. It's more recoil than a lot of the civilian AR-15s that I've had experience with. At least the internal workings are very similar. Just all of the functionality of it is just as close as I believe it can possibly get for airsoft currently. But that could change. Daniel?
I'm going to make this very simple and easy. I agree. Okay, so I know you guys have a lot of questions, so we're going to try to leave the last 15 minutes for questions. So please don't spam the questions. Remember, there's a few second video lag, but we're going to go into questions and try to answer them the best we can for you guys.
Before we get there, I'd like to do one shout out. Airsoft Delta Squad 100. Shout out approved. All right.
Bam. All right. So the next question we have Ghost Killer 4447.
Whoa. What about Jack Rosenberg?
Oh, I'm sorry. I completely missed that. Okay.
How dare you?
So we'll go to Jack first, and then we'll go to the next one. Jack Rosenberg, Bob and Daniel, what do you guys want for Christmas? Ooh. I didn't think about that.
You go first.
Okay, so actually, it was just my birthday, so I got Chromecast, which was really cool. So I've been watching like a Memento.
What's Chromecast?
It's like, have you heard of like Apple TV?
Yeah.
It's like Google's version of that. The only thing it can't do is screen share from my iPhone. But I watched like Hulu and Netflix. I watched like Memento, the new Red Dawn, which I heard wasn't that good of a movie, but I really enjoyed it. That was a really, really fun movie. So besides that, I think like P90X3 is coming out, so I want that too. But
you already have a couple P90s, don't you?
I had the first original one, but this new one's supposed to be like...
P90X.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a new one that's like 30 minutes. You probably meant Airsoft questions. What do I want for Airsoft?
I'm not going to answer Airsoft.
Airsoft? I would love an LM4 just because all my guns are so... streamlined and just performance, super lightweight, and like I'd rock a Polar Star in half a second if I had one. But it would be cool to play with something that's more realistic. So I would say either an LM4 or the other gun that my mind's been stuck on recently is like a PDW. I'm thinking about getting like the Lancer Tactical PDW and decking out the internals just because when I use Brian's Chris, the Two-Tone Chris Vector, there's a moment where I folded the stock to the side, and I've never really played like that before, but it was like a whole another level of maneuverability. I had this conversation where, let me see, this gun for example. I always use guns with a stock. And so I always have it against my shoulder, like most people do. And I found that when you have it like this, you're kind of like, for lack of better terms, you're kind of like a funnel because you're pivoting on this point. When I was playing with that Chris, because I had no room to maneuver, I was playing it like this, and then I had all axes that I could like aim it and then angle it a little bit more. I'm not saying blind firing, I'm still behind the gun, but I felt like I had that extra maneuverability. So that's kind of why I've had my mind on the PDW. What do you want for Christmas, Bob?
Well, I'm sure not a lot of you know, but there's a new game coming out for PC only that's entirely crowdfunded, and they're actually up to $35 million in crowdfunding alone right now. It's called Star Citizen. It's basically going to be the manifestation of all of my video game hopes and dreams. If you're a fan of the Firefly series, Star Wars, a bunch of other sci-fi shows, this is probably going to be the game for you. It's the same guy who created Wing Commander, among many other games like Freelancer. And it's going to be probably one of the coolest space sims to date. So they're actually selling ships for this game, and you can buy them and get in the hangar right before the alpha and beta testing, and basically play around before the game even exists. So I kind of want to buy a ship. That's what I want.
Really cool. Josh actually just shared that with me in the link, and like I watched the video, and I was like, "This is like live gameplay. Like there's like the cinematic moments that you see, and like they're cutscenes in video games. But this is live in-game footage." I'm like, no way.
Yeah, they push the PC platform as far as it can possibly go, and even further. And yeah, you can board ships, you can be boarded, you can be taken hostage, you can be sold into slavery, I guess, and buy your way out. So there's a lot of different options for this game. There's a lot of promise, and I can't wait. But I'm sure you guys are wondering what I would want for Airsoft, and I was actually thinking about this. I want an RM4. I want an RM4 ERG. That's actually the gun that I was most eagerly awaiting for the longest time. And then when it finally came out, I found out the Tokyo Marui M870 gas shotgun was coming out. And I had a really tough decision. And I went with the gas shotgun because I've had my hands on a shotgun ever since I was 10 years old. I feel like it's almost ingrained in me, so I had to get that, and I like an RM4, but more than that, I want my Firefly Cruiser in Star Citizen. So I want it now.
Oh, that is epic.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we can try to go through some of these questions a little quick for the last 10 minutes, because we want to try to answer as many as we can. Now back to Ghost Killer 4447. My local airsoft field is Balahawk, and the FPS limit minimum engagement distance is 400. My KWA shoots 400, 405. How can I lower it just enough to make sure that it's safe? It depends on the airsoft fields. Like the fields that we play here, for the most part, if it's like just a tad over, a lot of the times they'll be understanding, but some will be very, very strict about it. At the same time, follow your FPS limits. It's all for safety. Which gun is it? Is it the LM4? If it's one of the AEGs, there's a bucking modification you can do where you release a little bit of airflow. It's a little tricky. I would not recommend doing it if you don't know what you're doing, but a bucking modification, you can. The easier way to go about it too is leaving your spring compressed, and the way you do that is when you pull the trigger on full auto, the spring on the inside and the gears cycle, and so the spring is compressing and decompressing. When you fire in semi-automatic, it always decompresses it to the best position possible. When you fire in full auto, it stops wherever you release the trigger. So what you do is intentionally stop where that spring is compressed. Leave it like that for 3-4 days, and it will weaken the spring just a tad to drop your FPS. I would say that's probably the best way you can do it. If you have a tech nearby, you can do that as well. Bob?
You know, to be honest, I don't want to waste too much more time. You said everything that needs to be said.
Okay.
So,
how about I'll let you answer this next question. Breadman 32398. Anyone wanting a gas blowback semi-auto shotgun, maybe Benelli M4,
or full auto AA12. All right. First of all, gotcha. God bless you, Breadman 32398. I have actually been telling any manufacturer I can get my hands on to make an AA12. I told KWA, G&G, just about anyone that comes in the front door, like anyone. I've been telling them, begging them, make an AA12. And honestly, there are some impediments in between the manufacture of that gun and, well, just having it in my hands. Essentially, it costs a lot of money to develop an airsoft gun. Yeah. Some could say in the neighborhood of $1 to $2 million per airsoft gun. Impressive Fire Airsoft, shout out approved. So yeah, I would love to see a semi-auto shotgun. There have been some that came out before, a long time ago actually, but they ejected shells, which can be a pain in the butt to go collect. But yeah, an AA12 would be great. That'd be right on the money. I would probably, if one of those came in the door right now, even though I just pooped, I'd sell it myself. I promise. If one came in the door right now, I promise I will crap myself right now.
I really want that to happen, but at the same time, I don't. That would be amazing. Okay, so we're going to keep going. MC Slayer wants a cheap helmet that looks cool. We do have some helmets that are like the older Mitch that are really, really cheap, like $10, $20 or so. But if you want one that looks cool, the Lancer Tactical Fast Helmet Basic version. It's like $40. It doesn't have that locking mechanism that squeezes your head in, but it still looks really cool, like the normal Fast Helmet, but it's very inexpensive and still gets the job done.
It does have less padding and I guess a less comfortable strap under the chin. So if you can't afford the extra $20 to $25, it is in your best interest to get the non-basic version. But that basic version does everything you need it to. So
yeah, so if you want the looks, that's good. James Stubbins, I want to hear which tri-shot Bob prefers. The short one, the one with the full stock, the M3, the M4, or the Spaz. So many options.
That's a very good question. First of all, I'd like to mention... What?
Apparently you're supposed to say that.
Vector? That's not a shotgun. Okay. Anyway, moving on. I prefer the M3 shotgun tri-shot with the collapsible stock. It's actually, I believe, similar to the stock used by the Marine Corps. Obviously, it's collapsible, but you actually hold the shotgun and twist it about 90 degrees to the left. I don't believe you can really twist that far to the right, but that's really great. Honestly, if you've used them for a while, because the shotgun has a set hop-up, you actually shoot people around corners. Kind of a dick move, but I don't know, for trick shots, it's pretty cool. But I like that just for the fact that, you know, it's a lot more maneuverable. The barrel is kind of long, so having the extendable stock is a really good option. So yeah, the M3 with the collapsible stock is my preferred tri-shot shotgun.
Okay, so ARC 1453, I want a high-end sniping gun, I imagine. What are my options? I would recommend go with an AEG because the ability to go semi-automatic is so much more powerful than having a bolt action. If you go bolt action, pick up one of our G98s. It's a custom gun that our techs make that's based off like the L96 platforms, but everything in it is like super decked out. She's like $550. But if you want to go with like a high-end DMR type setup, KW SR12 was one of my personal favorites. Shot so far. That was an amazing gun. High-end sniping gun?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit different than a lot of the folks here. A lot of the folks here prefer DMR platforms for sniping. I prefer to go all the way back to the basics. I love bolt-action sniper rifles. In fact, those are the only ones I own. Well, actually, I do have one Dragunov. But that said, I do prefer the G&G. I believe it's G98, the L96 style airsoft gun. It's a gas sniper rifle. I prefer gas sniper rifles because you can cycle them for follow-up shots a lot faster than you can with spring sniper rifles. Spring sniper rifles can be kind of a pain to cycle, but the gas ones, you can basically lift them up. I've actually done this before in a ghillie suit where I was so close to the person I was shooting, and I missed. The guy's like, "Where'd that come from?" And I was like, "Oh my God."
That's so cool. That's so intense.
And then, I gotcha. Yeah, I'm right here. So I prefer those just because it feels like I'm actually sniping.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so Zachary Nguyen is saying, what is a good vest that is lightweight?
Zachary Nguyen.
Zachary Nguyen, I'm sorry. A vest that is lightweight, I would have to say, like the Golden Griffin chest rigs, super lightweight, super basic, but I think you guys know where I'm going with this. Blue Force Gear chest rig. That is more expensive.
Sorry, I shouldn't sigh.
That's like probably one of the lightest weight vests or chest rigs that I'm personally running with right now. So I love that chest rig because it's so lightweight.
Yeah, I would have to say the Blue Force Gear, it's not really a chest panel, it's a chest rig. It has like 4 pouches if you got the M4 style one. It has, I believe, like 5 if you have the MP7 style chest rig. Yeah, those are the lightest one. I mean, that's kind of what their stated goal is, to make the lightest and most effective gear possible. So I side basically because like it seems like everyone's into that stuff, and I'm just not the kind of guy that focuses on lightweight loadouts. That's all.
Yeah.
So
yeah. To each his own.
Yep.
Ryan is asking a Condor chest panel or a battle belt for a lightweight loadout. Condor chest panel or battle belt? I would probably go with the chest panel because when I have my rig, I like having the shoulder straps because I feel like the weight is more evenly distributed on that. If you go with the battle belt, definitely pick the H harness with it, which would accomplish the same thing. But I've been playing for a long time with my gear right in front of me on my chest, so that's what I'm used to. But that's not to say that the battle belt setup is not effective. I think it's very effective as well too. What do you think, Bob?
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good question because a little while back I was trying to do a battle belt setup, a minimalist loadout, which I believe that night was the night I met Mark. Yeah, remember when he let me use the SCAR?
Yeah.
Really quick story. I met Mark at 4-Star working here, a friend of yours, Daniel, and I told him, cool, a Surefire Fat Mag style magazine on a gun. And he's like, oh, you want to use it? And I hadn't used an AG in a long time. And I went out there, and I swear to Jeebus that I heard like the song "A Whole New World" playing in my ears. I was running around. I was like, yeah, woo, 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 a whole new world. It was so crazy and so liberating. But I am probably gonna go with the chest harness, or excuse me, the plate carrier or chest panel, just because I like feeling like I'm wearing body armor. But we have a little bit of time, and I want to get to J Plaz 123's question. Bob, what's going?
No, not that one. We're skipping it. Josh wants us to skip that one.
Why?
Because he said skip that one.
But I want. But
and Josh, we trust. Let's go to that one.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Bob.
Go ahead.
Airsoft Squad is asking, what's better for a CQB platform? An MP5,
MP7,
or a P90. I would say in terms of strictly performance, the P90 would be the best choice, but I would probably personally pick the MP7 for the sheer fun factor, because I've never played a game with an MP7, but I've fired so many working here that it's so much fun to shoot that I'd love to actually shoot at somebody with one. So I'd say P90 for strictly performance. For fun factor, I'd go with the MP7. Bob.
Yeah, I would go P90 performance, MP7 fun factor, and MP5 if you're doing a specific loadout. MP5 was actually my first AEG when I got into Airsoft, because I saw this movie, Clear and Present Danger, and loved the loadout of this Army Special Forces guy. So I had to get an MP5, and I had to get a mock barrel extension with it. So, yeah, if you're going for a specific loadout like SCS, Navy SEALs, or anything else, the MP5 would probably be good for that. But yeah, P90, MP7, MP5.
Very cool. Okay. I guess he wants you to answer the question then.
Okay. All right. J Plaz 123. Bob, what's going on with you in customer service? Tried a few days ago, and you were not there. My sincere apologies. My time at customer service, as well as my time here at Airsoft GI, is a bit flexible, thanks to the higher-ups here at Airsoft GI, because I still go out and audition for commercials. So I believe this past Monday I had a Campbell's Soup audition, which is why I was not here. Previous to that, I'm trying to think what my previous auditions were. God, I had an audition for a Captain America and Spider-Man toys, which is a while back, which is pretty fun. A bit of a weird audition. So yeah, basically, whenever I'm not in customer service, the chances are is that I'm sick or I'm at an audition, and generally I'm at an audition because I don't really call in sick that often.
No. Bob's a really busy guy. He's got multiple jobs, and then we slave him away here.
I'm so important. I'm so important.
It's very important.
No. But yeah, so that's mainly because I have auditions. I am sorry I couldn't be there, but I was there this last Monday and I got to talk to a lot of people. So yeah, I'm sorry I wasn't there.
Very cool. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up for our live show. We hope we can answer at least some of your questions. We apologize for the ones we can't get to, but I hope you guys can understand that there's so many questions out there. But otherwise, this has been the live show on December 10th.
I actually just want to put one more note. I think this is really fun. I like that we're going to answer more questions this time.
Yeah, and I think that's so I'm still getting used to some of the things here, but originally you guys were telling me that when the live show first started, it was a lot more like Q&A and trying to help you guys out with questions and stuff like that. So
interaction.
Yeah, so we're going to try to continue this more. So next week, we're going to have another topic. I'm not going to tell you which one next, but hopefully it can spark some more debate that, we don't want it to make it easy. We can't just be like, oh, buy this gun. This is the best one ever, It's a lot more complex than that, because Airsoft is a lot more complex than people are too. But other than that, thanks for watching, guys. This has been the live show.
I'm Bobby Axeman Hildebrand, and I'm apparently engaging a staring contest with one of our commenters.
He's been doing that for a while, and I really want to just be like, hey, staring contest, just to see how long,
My eyes are going dry.
It's just I think he blinked. I have a feeling somewhere in the world.
I'm not going to lose.
He's staring like, all right, guys, he's going to continue the staring
contest. It's been a pleasure, guys. Bye-bye.
Not blinking.